I love bikes. I love the experience of riding bikes. All of them, doesn't matter. Any manufacturer, no matter what model it is, there's something special about being on two wheels. Ladies and gentlemen, old guy coming at you again from Starved Rock Harley Davidson in Ottawa, Illinois. Great dealership, lovely group of people, highly recommend them. Today we have the 2022 Harley Davidson Iron 883. This was the last year, if memory serves me correctly, of the 883. And as many bikes as I've ridden in my life, I've never ridden an 883. So when I saw this one on the floor, I was like, man, I really want to try that bike. I really do. And they're very gracious enough to let me take this out to get an experience on it. When this was brand new, this one, I believe, was like $11,000. $11,300, something like that. And a little pricey. So I don't think it quite met the expectations that it was going to need to meet to stay in the market, to be honest. And now the Sportster is even more expensive. The Nightster's more expensive. I don't think Harley has a bike that's under $13,000 now. But hey, the used market is a beautiful thing, and I've never been one to say don't buy a used bike when you can for less money. Let's go over the specs of this and then take it out on the road and get that first ride experience. So, as the name would suggest, this is an 883cc V-twin engine, claiming 57 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPMs, 51 foot-pounds of torque at 3,750 RPMs. It's not a lot of power, especially considering this bike weighs 564 pounds, so it's not light either. But, hey, I think it'll be enough. So up front, we have a telescopic front fork, a 190/19 front tire, 300 millimeter disc, 2-piston caliper. This does not have steel braided brake lines. This does have ABS, or I believe. So, I mean, it's not unequipped in the front. So, stepping around to the rear, this is a belt-driven bike. This has a 150/80/16 rear tire. Also has a 300 millimeter disc and 2-piston caliper. It's got dual shocks with preload adjustability. This was the beginner bike for Harley. And the price just kept creeping up, and it just didn't really compete with the rest of the market, in my opinion. If they had priced this competitively, I think this would have still been a great option for a beginner bike. Let's check seat height, and I'll show you why. I am 5'9" tall. I weigh 220 pounds. And yes, I'm a little bit bigger than the average person that would be looking to get this bike, in all honesty. This bike has a claimed seat height of 25.7 inches. Incredibly low to the ground. Not the lowest bike you can buy, but it's close. Very close. So throwing a leg, I'm lifting the bike up before I even sit down. The kickstand up. While this bike does weigh 564 pounds claimed, it is incredibly lightweight when you're sitting on it. It's right here, right here. You can feel it, but your feet are so firmly planted on the ground, it's not really that big of a deal. So no real complaints there. Rider position. This is kind of a mid position. This tank is so small, you're not even going to come close to it with your knee, just so you know. I'll show that when we ride it. So the mid position, your feet are right here. It's pretty much upright completely, which can have its drawbacks, which we'll talk about on the ride. But the rider position, the rider triangle, is not uncomfortable by any means. So I look forward to doing what I love to do, and that's ride the bikes and enjoy it and share that experience with everybody. Let's hit the road. As I mentioned, super low. 5 foot 9" 19 front tire, 300 millimeter disc, 2-piston caliper. It's got a dual shocks with preload adjustability. This was the beginner bike for Harley. And the price just kept creeping up, and it just didn't really compete with the rest of the market, in my opinion. If they had priced this competitively, I think this would have still been a great option for a beginner bike. Let's check seat height, and I'll show you why.
thing, honestly. It's very, very quiet. Wow. It does have a really good torque pull. I'm surprised. The seat's not very, it's not uncomfortable. It's quite, actually a little plush, honestly. Everything's in the right spot. I think I might want the, for me, I'd have to move the bars back just a little bit. So by toggling through, we do have a gear indicator and an RPM gauge. So that's nice. All right, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way as we make this turn and get up to speed. This bike is insanely vibrational. It is a 5-speed. I forgot, almost went to 6 there. The pegs are insanely vibrational. The hands, very vibrational. But, I mean, 65. If I could mitigate those vibrations, I'd be much, much happier. Because that's at 65 and 30 at 3,500, and it's very vibrational. This bike has a look and a mystique of originality and you know, the origins of this bike. It's just, Sportster's iconic. In my opinion, it just is. And I'm shocked, honestly, after all, you know, with all the bikes I've ridden in my life, that I've never ridden one. I mean, there are a lot of bikes, I guess, that I've never ridden any model of or any model year. And I will work to rectify that situation. See, I've never understood the adage why this bike is labeled as a girl's bike from the hardcore Harley people. Because this bike is quite nice. Honestly, it's quite nice. Alright, let's do what you... Oh my god, don't get on the interstate. No! Yeah, fuck that. We're going on the interstate. We're going full throttle. 5th gear. And we are doing 80 miles an hour. And the wind is brutal. Okay, why don't you do the interstate on a Sportster? Because there's no wind protection. But it will do it. Man, I still got more to go. There's 80. Man, it's doing 80 miles an hour. My feet are gonna go numb. But so, can the Harley Davidson Sportster, Iron 883, whatever you want to call it, can it do the interstate? Yes. Yes, it can. And other than the fact that it has no wind protection, it's quite comfortable doing it. I think if this bike had been like $9 grand, even today, I think this bike would still sell. Because there's a cool factor to this bike, in my opinion. There really is. It's small, it's light for the most part, it's simple, and it's a fun bike to ride. I mean, is it going to keep up with a road glide or whatever? In town? Yeah, it will, because what's the frickin' speed limit? That's the other thing that bothers me, is like, oh, I can't keep up with the bigger bike, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Well, if you're breaking the speed limit, well, fine, yeah, no, it won't. But this thing will do 80, 90, probably 100 miles an hour, even with my fat ass on it. And what the hell? What the hell do you want? It's got a satisfying clunk when you go into gears. Alright, let's see here. How fast is it? Let's try a quick 0 to 60. 3. Whoop, nope. Alright, 3, 2, 1. I slid back in the seat when I started. I'd say I was probably like 7.5. Wasn't the greatest, but fast enough. This does not have self-canceling turn signals, by the way. This also does not have cruise control. This does not have many bells and whistles, if any. And that really leads me back to, I wish it had been cheaper. I wish they still made it and it was cheaper. Because the Nightster to me is, it's really fun, but God, it's $13,000. That's way out of the price range for a large majority of first-time riders. And that's a problem. You know, if you price people out of being able to buy bikes, well, what's the point? Price people in. Look, honestly, your entry-level motorcycles from any manufacturer should not make any money when you sell them, or very little money. I mean, your margins should be, you know, incredibly small, 5%, you know, on your margins. Because once you get them in, once people experience riding, I can guarantee you most don't stop. Then they buy the bigger bike, where your margins can be around 20%, 30%. You know, that's where you get, you know, you make your money back. And that's how you got to get your new riders in. Because we're losing riders. We're getting older, and the younger generation isn't buying the way we did. Mainly because everything's too goddamn expensive. But if you price them in, man, you can get some people. This bike leans over really, really well. It really does. I like it. I like this bike a lot, actually. Oh, damn. I may have to add a Sportster to my stable. We're just gonna... Oh. That's awful. See, I wish I could be going a little faster with this big ass truck in my way. But it handles itself just fine. I mean, very stable, very relaxed. Honestly, this is a great little bike. Alright, so at 51 foot-pounds of torque, I believe that's 600 class torque figure. I mean, it's putting out plenty of torque. Now, granted, yes, it does weigh quite a bit more than a 600, and a 600 will smoke it top end. But from a low-down pull, from a low-down torque perspective, it feels really, really fun and really, really quick. And for a younger, for an inexperienced rider, this will feel very, very fast. It's not, but it will feel like it because they don't have the reference point yet. And the beauty about bikes, honestly, is when you buy a bike, I mean, you take care of it, you're generally going to sell it for what you bought it for. If you buy a bike used on the street, Facebook, whatever, yeah, you're going to buy it, you're going to ride it for a season, maybe two, and then you're going to sell it, you know, for a little bit less than what you bought it for. Sometimes I've seen people get more than what they paid for it. And it's not counting accessories. Accessories are irrelevant. Stop trying to mark your shit up because you have accessories on it. Your accessories don't mean shit. Jump right over neutral. There it is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. 2022 Harley Davidson Iron 883. Halogen everything, all the way around. The old Harley shake. There you go. Special thanks to Starved Rock Harley Davidson for letting me take this out today. I greatly appreciate being able to experience bikes that I've never ridden before, never even tried, and to understand them, you know, to try to get a feel for them and how they make you feel. And honestly, I really do like this. This is a great little bike. It's not, I say little, but it's workable, and I really wish they still made it. Honestly, I really do. All right, everybody, stay safe, and as always, enjoy the ride.